even like thousands of years ago, Hmong people was already addicted to opiates, but it was never acknowledged or it was never talked. So it was always been a stigma, or it was always been a shame throughout centuries that they don't talk about. Or They don't want to acknowledge it.
So it's ingrained in your culture to just, if you don't talk about it, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Yang, thank you so much for coming in today. We know how busy you are.
Yeah, thank you, Barry, for taking your time, coming from all the way from Georgia to here in the cold weather of Minnesota. And we appreciate that you are doing the Pillar and Beans to like interviews, like say you say leader like us, but we're just humble servants. So we're just trying our best to educate and empower others so that we can all do the same work. Yes, my name is Yeng Moua, and everybody just call me Why. Why not? It's easy and it's catchy. The word Koom is Hmong, but in English it means join. And I'm one of the co-founders. We had 3, so I'm one of the co-founders for Koom Recovery. The reason why I want to do this is because I want to use my lived experience in recovery to help and mentors and support those that are going through the situation as Hmong individuals in recovery to help them live in a successful long-term life without going back to use. The most challenging problem that I face or I go through as Hmong individuals in recovery is that, Hmong people doesn't really, acknowledge or talk about substance use disorder. So that is like the key is to break that silence, but it's also a challenge. And the challenge started from you could say that multiple level. It started from, like the elders or the not like Hmong people are not really educated, or a lot of shames and guilt and stigmatized, or they don't want to acknowledge within their family, or it's a whole culture component of things too, because the reason why I believe that Hmong people doesn't talk about substance use disorder, it's because when they do, then it brings shames to their clan names. For example, for myself, when I was starting using substance, then my family, they kind of disown me, and they kind of just claim me because I bring a lot of shame into the Moua family.
Right.
Yeah.
So what does that look like? I've seen it happen on an individual level. You just talked about it on a family level. But what does it look like on a community level when there's the stigma of silence, the stigma of addictions? How does that look like in your community? For the
Hmong community, they still have a hard time differentiate the difference between alcoholisms and substance use disorder. They still think that people that have issues with say meth or other drugs, right? And the one that are using alcohol on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, they don't see the difference.
Really?
They see they think that it's different, but we know that substance use disorder is the same alcohol or drugs, right? But they don't really want to acknowledge that they're having issues. And then I try to break that silence and telling them and asking them questions such as, so if you go to work Monday through Thursday, in the back of your head, all you keep thinking about is Friday and Saturday, Sunday, where I'm going to go drink, or who I'm going to go drink with. I told them that is a behavior of addictions.
So it seems like, when we first started talking, the main challenge was how to break that silence and to identify the first step you were going to take. And I'd like to get to that in a moment to kind of break that down. But it seems like every time we talk, it peels back another level of challenges you have. So how are you dealing with working with the community for them to understand that alcoholism and drug addiction, it's the same thing?
I think it's all started from I have to say that, I have to, in the Hmong culture, let me say that if there is future Hmong leader are watching, first I want to apologize to them, because as Hmong people, we always don't like to say things that degrade our own culture. So I'd just like to apologize to the elders if they're listening. But, to my understanding and growing up in the Hmong culture, it's all started with the elders. Whatever that the elder does, the next generation believe and follow them. So for me, how I got introduced into like alcohol, it was because I was watching my dad does all of that, and then it became a norm to me.
Yeah, so it's okay. I can do this. He does it. I can do it, right?
Yeah. And then the ultimate thing is that, we all know that once you start doing some kind of behavior like that, it will always lead to wanting to try new things, right? And then when we do, like for me, when I got to that point when I got introduced into like methamphetamines.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that is the point where they kind of like, disown you, or they kind of like don't see the difference, or they don't see it as the same thing, because one thing's like methamphetamines will destroy you, or will make you go into the world that you don't want to be at. But then if you just like drink every weekend and can maintain your job and go to work,
then it's okay.
Then it's okay.
So in your community, the most leverage, the most power you can get is get your elders behind what you're trying to do. And if the elders do that, then it's going to be easier for you to break that silence in your community. Is that a good read?
Yeah, that's a good read. And that's I think that's the most accurate read, because like, I have to say like 80% of the Hmong is non-Christian. So a lot of them follow the elders, or the elders or the 18 clans has a lot of influentials into the Hmong community.
18 clans?
Yeah.
Can you help me understand that?
Yeah.
better?
So as the history of Hmong, we only have like Pacific's like 18 last name.
Okay.
And each last name have like a clan leader, and it structures that way throughout centuries and throughout generation.
Right.
So if you look up the Hmong, there's no more than 18 last name that you have to remember.
Well, that makes it easier and complicated at the same time.
Because it's complicated, and it's also structured. So to me, and I understand that, that to really break this silence, it had to start with them, but then they also had to acknowledge that, alcoholism and substance use disorder is the same.
So how does that tie in then? If getting the elders, is like a subset where you get the elders on your side, the community follows. So do you have to kind of associate that by getting at least one or two elders to move behind the movement, and the other elders will follow also?
Yeah, you can say that, but I think it starts with like the other components is that it's also start with like individuals like me, or individuals like Sienna for the women's, and like other individuals that has been in long-term recovery for a while, and they have like a success story where we had to approach the elder in a respectful way and say that, yes, we understand where you guys coming from, but that doesn't work for everybody, and that doesn't work for the new generation here in America. We have to come to the middle, and you guys need to listen to our story so that you guys understand why we having this this disease, and why that this is an ongoing like battle that we have to battle. So I think it's just more of like a sit down, educate, and for them to listen to, or like to people like me, our testimonies, to help them to understand that hey, it's the same.
I'd like to ask one more question on that, and then kind of bring it back to the first step, figuring out the first step to break the silence. How did that go when you first wanted to sit down with the elders?
It's kind of challenging to like even like set a date and time with them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because like I believe that, when you bring like issues like this to them, it's hard because they don't really want to accept that. So and that this topic is very sensitive, or is very taboo in the Hmong community, right? And I think that's the hardest thing, is that, it's such a taboo topics, and it's such a topics that they don't talk about it for like centuries already. And because I believe in that, because, it started all the way back in the Opium Wars and all of that. And even back then when the women were using it for suicidal because of forced marriage and what's not, and depression and stuff like that. And then like, even like thousands of years ago, Hmong people was already addicted to opiates, but it was never acknowledged, or it was never talked. So it was always been a stigma, or it was always been a shame throughout centuries that they don't talk about, or they don't want to acknowledge it.
So it's ingrained in your culture to just, if you don't talk about it, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that hasn't gone well for a lot of people.
No, because we all are made differently, and we
Right.
all needs different things to recovery. But the most important thing is that we have to acknowledge that it is a Hmong issues.
Well, that's a good stake in the ground to transition back to. So your organization is working with the community to say, yes, this is a problem. This is an issue. And until you admit you have a problem, you can't solve the problem.
Yeah. So how? That's why we, me, my sister, and my wife Sienna, we went through treatments, and we understand the Western traditional of healings or going through treatments, but then we also understand the cultural components, saying that hey, there's not a lot of like people that are willing to come out and to talk about substance use disorder in our community. And that's what we try to do, is that we try to, be more open and have people that are success in recovery to come back and share with the community and share with the 18 clans, saying that, hey, it is a disease and can be cured, but we need to talk more, and we need to acknowledge that, this is an issue in our community.
Right. So that's a good start to say. So you were working to find that first step, how to break the silence. So part of that first step was to bring people who have successfully recovered to come back into the community. Because I think you've told me a lot of people recover and they leave and they don't come back.
Yeah.
So all that learning is gone.
Yeah. So like a lot of like individuals that I grew up or I know that, got into like methamphetamine, went to prison, got their life good, have kids, but then they never want to come back and talk about their past. How did they achieve their recovery, and how did they obtain their recovery? So it's just like a lot of like, oh, I don't want to talk about it because it's the past. But we need to acknowledge that our past can change life.
So you two have done that. Have you been able to bring some people back to participate?
I have not had the time to go reach out to those individuals because I'm so busy focusing on helping other individuals to go through the treatment process. You can say that we did kind of break the silence a little bit this year.
You did?
Yeah.
So you did figure out what your first step needs to be, and the goal was to start breaking the silence. So the problem is that there's just silence. We don't talk about it. It doesn't happen. So can you help me better understand how you figured out what that first step needs to be?
Yeah. So the first step that we did this year, with the help of Winnie Jones and Marco, we did a town hall meeting together here over in Frogtown Recovery Cafe, and we invited like some community leaders, some professionals, city commissioners, city council representative. Why we invite those individuals?
Yeah.
It's because one thing that we have to understand about the Hmong people is that if you're not a statue or status, or if you don't have like a status to your name, a lot of the time Hmong people will not listen to you. So our thing was that we need to bring in these high position individuals into this kind of like town hall or listening sessions so that other people can come and listen to, because that's just how the Hmong people are, right?
So those people are like seen as elders. The elders in your community see people with status and titles as elders in their community, and they don't want to communicate with people that aren't their peers. Is that a good read on that?
Yeah, that's close enough. Like,
okay.
Like say if you have
not bad, huh?
Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah. So like say that if you're not a doctor or if you don't have a doctorate degree,
right,
a lot of the time they won't listen to you. But if you have like a doctorate degree or you hold like a high status office positions, then they attempt to like listen to your opinions and your voices. So that's just how it works. And I believe that we did that this year when we invited a lot of those high position people and a lot of other individuals to the town hall. And it was like pretty amazing how we have like 160 individuals shows up.
In the audience?
Yeah.
Great. Can you help me better understand how you recruited that whole echelon of legislatures, senior managers? How did you do that? I mean,
well, it's because we have good mentors.
Right.
And I think you talked to her a couple of times. Winnie Jones.
Yes.
Yeah, Winnie Jones and Chris Kelly, they are like our great mentors, and they say, hey, this is what works, and let's try it. That's how we tried it, and that's how she taught us a lot of things, how to say it, or how to write emails, or navigate the legislations, or how to knock on their door to have them come to these events.
You just went up there and knocked on their door and said, you want to talk to them?
Oh, that's harder than that.
That sounds pretty easy, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sounds easy, but it takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of time and patience to write like emails, to write the right format, the correct words, because you just can't say, hey, come to this town hall, blah, blah, blah. That's not how it works.
Yeah, and they get invitations all the time, don't they?
Yeah. So you have to sit down we have to sit down with Wendy, and Wendy have to teach us how to write our emails, and how to, who to send it to, and who is our representative, and all that. So it was like a whole learning process, but with good mentors, things run a little bit smooth.
I think we were talking earlier where I said, so how did you get successful? And you said, I learned a long time ago to have good people around me. So you took that from, I think, when you were in the streets, and you're not in the streets anymore, and congratulations on that. But how did you transition from having good people around you when you were not doing great stuff to having good people around you when you're doing this work now? How did that happen?
So, yes, thank you for that. Even when I was like running around the streets, like selling drugs, right? I have to careful who I pick to be in my circle. I have to be careful of who I want to take or to bring them closer to me. And those individuals have to have like the same mindset as me, or similarity interest, or will back me up 100%, right? You can transition all of your life skills in the streets into a normal business setting, or into like a real world, right?
How did you do that? Well, because I've never been on the streets doing what you did. There was probably a time in my life that I could have went that way. But my mom was from Queens and first generation Russian, and she did a few things that made me sure that I didn't want to go that way.
For me, it's like, in coming to like this like nonprofit or business world, there's always people that you have to find those that believe in you and believe in your cause. And it's just kind of more like a natural instincts that, you will have over time, and then if you don't know, like over time, you will run into a situation that people will like just want to take it from you or destroy you, or, you've been in the business world a lot. And when those situations happens, you have this gut instinct, or you have those feelings like who is genuinely like want to support you. You know it. Know it.
Well, you don't know it initially. You learn the hard way. I mean, I start out with 100% trust, and that doesn't always work out so well. But it's hard to change who you are. Yeah. You just have to be better at reading people. So one of the major reasons why you were able to come up with this first step, the town hall, to break the silence, was you got people around you that helped guide you. They walked by your side. And did they sometimes kind of have to push you also?
Well, I see how they how they mentor me is that, they say, this is what you must do, and then let you do it.
Okay.
Like instead of doing it for you. Right. So it's kind of like peer work, right?
Help me can you align that better? Help me understand how those connect?
It's kind of like how the peer recovery or service work is that you are only there to support them, but they still have to do the work for their recovery. So I see that, when Wendy, she's our mentor, and Chris Kelly, they are our mentor, and they give us the format, but then we still have to do the work. And that can be compared to peer services.
And so thank you for helping me understand that better, because peer recovery is some work we've done, and we'll talk about that in another podcast. But what do they do? After you've done the work, do you have review sessions? Do you have what worked, what didn't work, how to do things better?
Yeah. She, like, I always attach her into like the things that I write out, or she gave me like a format, and she say, hey, this is the format, and you tweak it and you change it how to fit into your cultural components and send it to those representatives, or send it to individuals that you want to invite to be in your panelists, or people that you just want to invite to come to your town hall. So you have to learn like the different format, the different language, or the different words that you're supposed to use, right? So that's how they does it with us. It's like, here goes the format. You do it, and we'll correct your work.
Right. So to understand better, you saw a need. You figured we have to break the silence. Correct me if I'm wrong on any of this. You put a team around you to help you figure out what the first step needs to be, and you figured that that's a town hall. And then it seems like you had to break another wall of silence, was to get through to the legislatures and the community people. Was there anything different about breaking the silence with the speakers at your event as opposed to breaking the silence in the community, or is it very similar?
So for these representative at the beginnings, or commissioner and city council, like when we didn't know them yet, we didn't think that they have like substance use issues, or we didn't think that they have a love member that has been impacted by SUD. But once we get to know them, they are very supportive in our cause now too, because they either, most of them or all of them have like they're like allied to a substance use disorder, and they know the struggle of like, say, trying to present this to like the elders, and they understand, like, because these representatives and these council members and commissioner, they all like a little bit more Americanized or modernized, so they understand that there is no difference, and they believe in our cause, and that's why they want to come and help us speak on our behalf too, because like they understand that if like they understand the Hmong culture where people without status or title, when they speak, then their word is not as powerful as those that have titles and positions.
So you were able to tie into their personal experiences. And the sad thing is that just about everybody in this country knows somebody, be it a family member, a friend, a work associate, that has abuse issues, substance abuse issues.
Yeah.
And was that something you were aware of when you started, or it was unexpected?
To us, it was unexpected because, like a lot of time, even though they are like legislator, they don't really like come out and acknowledge that, they have like they just don't talk about it either. But when we came out and when we talk about it, we share our life stories with them, and then it resonated with them. And then they tell us their story, say, hey, I do have a, cousin or a loved one that was impacted by SUD too. And yeah, once we started to get to know them as individuals instead of like their positions, and then they open up to you and you be like, oh, okay, so you guys do have the same kind of like, run to the same issue as we do.
Well, that must have made things a lot easier to get them on board.
Yeah, once you get to know them into like a personal level, and when you start to understand that, why they want to support you so much, but they doesn't. But even though like this is proof of point to like we're saying that legislator, sometimes it's hard for them to like just come out and say these kind of things too, because they have their guideline and they have their own things, the agenda.
This will help me with this group, but I'm going to alienate this group over here, and they have to balance that.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the event. So we've kind of worked up to the problem and how you're going to address that problem. Can you help me understand better about the actual event, how you implemented it, how you got people to come, and some of the results that happened?
Yeah, that part, it takes a whole team, right?
Yeah.
If you don't have a whole good team, and, I'm grateful that I have such a good team, and especially with my wife, Sienna. She's good at community engagement, and she's good at poking people.
Yes. Well, she's going to be on next on another podcast, so she doesn't poke me too hard.
So, I'm grateful for her, like writing letters to community partners, writing engagement, calling places, inviting like Hmong TV to come and record it, sending out flyers, making like flyers, and those are the things that she's good at, right?
Right.
Me, I'm just good at talking with people.
Me too. And the big challenge here is for me not to talk too much. But thank you. I think you have more experience at this than I do. So thanks for your help. So that's one team member, but
Yeah.
And we talked about your mentors.
Yeah, my mentor, they play a lot of behind the scenes where they also like say send all those flyers, send everything, write emails to like in the recovery community organization here in Minnesota. They also put into their like website, put into like their the organization events and send it out through the all the like 40 recovery community organizations. And they also help us get into like the Hmong Time newspaper. And it just take a whole team just to even like make one little things or make one little impact. And that teaches us that, you know, it's gonna take more work just to make a little impact.
So you did have the impact that you were looking for. You did successfully launch a town hall. You did start breaking the silence. And I think when I was talking with you and with Sienna, there was a major breakthrough with an elder. Do you want to talk about that a little? We'll go deeper into it when we talk with Sienna.
Yeah, Sienna can elaborate that with you.
Right, okay.
And then like I can elaborate on the other, one of the other components that I like to bring up how like we started like this trend now, right? Once that town hall came in place and once that we started speaking about our recovery and what's not, like for example, like last year at the Capitol for Recovery Day at the Hill, my sister was the only one that came out and spoke about substance use in the Hmong community at the Capitol. But then this year, after the town hall and after a little bit of we came out and talked about our substance use disorder, this year we have like 5 Hmong individuals came out to the Capitol and to talk about that, you know, Hmong people does have substance use issues. And then for like other, like say for legislations, just to understand and know that, you know, we need more like cultural specifics to help these individuals because they have no place to go get help at.
And that's where Koom Recovery comes in. It's a place for the Hmong community to come get help for recovery.
Get hope and come and be a voice for themselves.
So what does that look like? How do you follow on the town hall to keep them participating and to grow more people coming in?
It's more like you have to build your little own network within that community or have people come into leadership role. Like one of the individuals that we currently like mentor, his name is
Okay.
So he's big into the recovery, but he didn't know how to start. So we kind of mentor him, giving him some responsibility, have him host like community groups, support groups, just empowering the next individuals to do the same thing because we believe that, you know, we cannot do everything ourselves and we need a whole recovery community teams to make an impact. So our goal for the next couple months, a year, or continue, we're gonna try to develop like recovery leader so that they can do their own things at their at their certain locations, so that there shouldn't be like there shouldn't be only one place for Hmong recovery. There should be multiple places where they can go access those resource or recovery support easily.
So is that gentleman? Is his brand your brand, Koom Recovery, or does he have a different organization?
No, for now he's under umbrella. He's with us. If I have the money, I will hire him to work for me. Yeah.
Well, you know that'll come. I think that'll come. So what you're doing, it sounds like you're like a clearinghouse, a think tank, influencers, and legislatures behind you, and if you're getting people out in the field who have a location in a neighborhood or with a community. Is that what's starting to build?
Yeah, I think we're more like, I think Koom Recovery is more of the big A, right? The big advocacy. We're like more like the builder, or we are more like the big advocacy where we're gonna advocate for other people to start being more active in the community or to come out and talk about their recovery more. And then we trying to build leaders through that way because we know that ourselves, we cannot do like all of that peer support ourselves.
Right. So how do you support him? I mean, having somebody that wants to work with you, that believes in the mission, that is out in the field, what tools are you providing them?
So that's a good question. So what we does, or what Sienna does, is like she help them build their own brand, or like say their own designs that makes unique to them, and we'll put them under like Gone Recovery website, or promote them with us, saying that hey, we do have these support group hosted by these individuals at these locations. So we don't want to do anything like, we always incorporate that they're their own entities, but with Gone Recovery.
You're affiliated together in the Hmong community.
Yeah, we want to empower them that, hey, this is who he is. This is his thing. And this is what Gone Recovery just mentoring him or sponsoring him to do these things too.
Your process sounds a little bit like another guest we're going to have, Tara Heald, that, and I don't want to go into too much detail, but first you built a relationship, and now you're empowering them. What do you see happening next?
Well, we ultimately want him to have his own, like, to be honest, I would like him to have his own like organizations, or his own like community at where he grew up at. So he grew up in the north side of Minneapolis, and that's where we want to send him back and say, hey, collaborate with all of these organizations here in Minneapolis, so that you can serve the Hmong individual there. And
have you started that, or is that coming up soon?
We just did. We partner up with Anything Help. It's another recovery community organization up in the north side. He's gonna start to utilize their facility with the collaboration of Going and Anything Help, and he's gonna fall under there, and he's gonna start doing like a support group for the north side.
So it seems like you're building a multi-layered organization that's in the field, all the way dealing with advocacy at the legislature. And what are some unexpected things that have happened in that experience that?
Well, unexpected thing that the first thing that came up to my mind is that, you know, your past will always come back and haunt you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Good and bad.
Yeah. So that's the one thing that, you know, we currently deal is that, you know, your past will always come back and haunt you no matter what. It's how you deal with that situation, or it's how you move forward with those situations. So
how do you deal with that?
For us, I kind of knew about it. I kind of know that, you know, one day if I go into this kind of field, people will always come back and criticize me or critique me or like judge me in a form or in a way that, you know, is negativity. So I'm prepared myself. But, you know, like Sienna, she take it a little bit hard because she's a lot more emotional than I am. And I just encourage her, like, you know, when you do good works, you know, and because of our history and because of our past, you know, there's always going to be people out there that hasn't moved from the past. And they will always try to find negativities to bring you down, to crush you. So
what do you do about that when somebody doesn't stop, when they just keep coming at you?
Oh, we just keep pressing forward.
Yeah.
You know, ignore. The best thing for us to do is just ignore, because if you fall into it, if you like say, if you text back, or if you email back, or if you like put them to like say YouTube or post it on Facebook or something like that, that's what they want.
Yeah, it's like feeding a fire.
Yeah, that's what they want.
So you want to starve it.
Yeah. So we just like you said, we just starve it, doesn't feed it, doesn't add more woods to it, and eventually it will die down.
Or they'll come on board.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Then that's a big win if you can get them to come on board.
Yeah, they could come and say, hey, I'm sorry, I need help.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about synthesizing this experience and seeing how we can maybe solidify some lessons learned for your peers, and then we'll talk about the next group. What was the key things that, you know, I helped you figure out the problem, the key thing to find that first step, and one or two learnings that would help your peers in their life?
First key things that I found for myself that is very important is that you have to have the heart, as like we Christian, like we said,
Right.
the heart to serve other. If you doesn't have the drive to serve other, then you won't be able to go back into your community and
Right.
to serve them. The other things that comes to my mind is that you have to have the perseverance because it's hard work.
Yeah.
It's hard work and it takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of motivations
Right.
because, like, I'll be honest, someday I wake up and I don't even want to draft up like paperwork, but I still, wake up and draft up paper. Or me and Sienna, we stay up until past midnight to write like curriculum or to write or to do research. So it takes a lot of perseverance and it takes a lot of dedications.
And hard work. Mm-hmm. You just got to move that rock a little bit each day.
But the one thing that I do have to acknowledge is that, thanks to like say recovery and God, right? Some way, somehow it's always worked out for us.
Oh, good.
We don't know how, but
Yeah.
as busy as we are, we always been so far, we always been getting things done.
So for not only your peers, but for other, not only your direct peers, but for other peers in the recovery provider area. So it's get clear on what you want the problem is. Try to decide what will solve that, and then you just have to persevere, work hard. And is there any other points that you can think of that would help people in different areas of the recovery provider?
So I think can you elaborate on like say like providers, say
Right. Providers who support people in recovery. So there's the participants, people in recovery, and then there's counselors, there's RCOs like you, there's publishers, there's government agencies, providers of services to help people recover.
I think the one things that I came into conclusion is that don't be afraid or for provider or for non-provider or just for general individuals, right? I think the number one things that comes to my mind is that don't be afraid to share your knowledge,
Right.
don't be afraid to share your wisdom, and don't be afraid to share your resource. Because if you want to truly help somebody, those are the things that you need to give it to the next person. And if you don't share those things, if you don't give it to them, how are they going to better themselves?
And be that on an individual level or an organizational level.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where they're at, right? That's like how we say in the RCO setting, you're supposed to meet your peer where they're at. So if they come and seek help, advise them, give it to them. If they need resource, give it to them. Don't hold back. As long as it help them thrive to the next level. Because what if you didn't help them and they went and seek help in a different places, and those places might have give them the wrong answer and that trickle them down back to using. So why not be that person, be that provider that makes that difference and lead them into a long life or long-term recovery?
Great, fantastic. Well, first, thank you for helping me to clarify provider. I had a guest that said, is this going to be recorded? I said, I think I need to clarify that better. Yes, it's going to be recorded. I think it was the please don't wear black on the top. So I really appreciate your time. I learned something new, and as we go forward, hopefully we can continue talking and continue helping each other.
Yeah.
And, we're trying to just build recovery one pillar and one beam at a time.
Yeah. So. Thank you for having me, and, we're going to be working a lot together.
Yeah, I think so. Matter of fact, I'll see you Wednesday if there's a foot of snow out there. I have to remember how to drive here. I did it for 21 years. I think I can remember how to do it.